behavior is communicating something, right? Either something's missing or the student needs something. Coming back from a year and a half to 2 years away from school in person, our students need a lot. Whether it's just support or patience, someone to listen to them, that has been really important. Sometimes I would take things personal, or feel like, there's something else going on, and it was always the student's fault. But now I'm realizing that a lot of it is, what am I offering the student that may be causing this, or what is the student bringing in from home, from students showing up late to school or not turning in their assignments. And something that the pandemic made it very clear. I always assumed that kids had access to internet, that they had access to a computer at home, and then we find out so many of our community members didn't. And I was like, whoa, I have never thought about that. I never thought about, did a student have paper or pencil at home, and all these assumptions that we had, just because in my experience, I always had that. Then I thought back to my days as a teacher, and I would give kids a hard time if they didn't bring a backpack or a notebook. And then I was like, oh shoot, I never asked if they had one, and so I think those types of questions of, how often are we asking our students what do they need, or even just having a conversation with them about what is your day like? How do you wake up? How do you get out of bed? What's your routine before you come to school? Or what's your routine after school? Because then you find out they're taking care of siblings, or they're helping parents at work, or they're doing things. And I don't know, this past year and a half has been big in that way of just opening my eyes to all the things that happen outside of school and how much it influences what our students bring on a daily basis, or what they need from us. So it starts with us, how are we collaborating with the students? And I think in terms of building culture, we are the first models of that, so how do we, get to know somebody? What kinds of questions are we asking to know who our students are, what they're bringing to school? In a lot of education right now, there's this idea of restorative practices, restorative justice, right? And I think the way a lot of people experience it is like an afterthought. Something happened, now we're gonna restore something, but there was nothing there to begin with, right? And I think part of our approach of getting to know the students, hey, we're committed to you, we're gonna work with you, here's what we need from you, is part to build that relationship that then if something happens, that's what we need to repair, right? And when it's peer-to-peer or, in a classroom something happens, a lot of times it really is just sitting with students, individually, hearing what happened, and then offering a space for let's come together, not just to share our feelings, but to talk through how do we move forward from this. At the heart of it is growing up, seeing all my friends get in trouble, get suspended, get expelled, when really they were hurting, they needed support, they needed a hug, they needed love. And I think just knowing that, kids, they don't want to fail, they don't want to be bad, they're just, again, communicating something that they need. And suspending, expelling, that doesn't teach, that doesn't heal, that doesn't do anything but kind of push the problem to the side or pass it on to someone else. And I think one thing that we've been, I feel lucky that I have the director that I have, because she's always been on board with, let's help the students, let's figure this out. How do we work with the student and their family? I come from neighborhoods that, there is addiction, there is alcoholism, there is all these cycles that I think is what education is allegedly trying to break, right, or disrupt. And so that work of disrupting something has been really important to me, because when a student comes to school and has alcohol or has drugs, like there's something that they're going through that's causing them to use, right? And so if we can work with them and their family to get them the support within school, whatever we can do, plus like potentially a program outside or a community organization, like now we're involving everybody. I've only been in this position 3 years, but I've already seen the power of that relationship, and not just with the student, but with the parents, where they see our commitment, and now we're communicating, we're checking in, we're emailing, and even some like texting, and we're a team, and in some ways we're a family, so I think for me, that's why it's so important, is if we're really trying to help someone evolve and become the best version of themselves, then we have to give them that chance. We can't just pass them to the next school or the next administrator and hope that they'll get it, right? They'll learn their lesson. Like it doesn't work that way. Most of us don't learn that way. How do we become truly a community, that's working together as a team? And then I feel like that's the true transformation.